Streaming. Should send out email now.
That's a really loud noise, man.
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Happy Sunday. Let's see here. Make sure I did the thing right here on the stream. I think it's set up right.
Audio's good.
I got my new mic here, which has no hum. So hopefully you guys will. I had a little hum on my microphone. So discount code for today's live stream is RB809. That's the Beato book Instagram bundle. Instagram YouTube transcription bundle, 650 some odd pages. It's my book, and the on my Instagram, if you go to @RickBeato1 on Instagram, I post every single day on there. Most of the time I post things of playing and what I call mini lessons. I posted a thing today on false fingerings, which we'll talk about, but false fingerings are when you actually play a note here, like the note G, and then you play the same note, a unison, on a different string. That's an idea that I got from listening to saxophone solos, like Michael Brecker and things like that. We'll talk about false fingerings in a second, but any of you that watch these things, what's up, Dean? Any of you that watch my videos will notice that I have some type of most people think I have an effect on my guitar that creates a pad over the chords. But what I do is I actually just play chords in underneath what I played. But I think it's really cool to practice if you don't have a sustainer pedal, like I have a EVA, Electro-Harmonix freeze pedal, where you can actually hold a chord. Or what I like to do is I will hold a chord like this, and I have a sustain pedal that my foot is on right now, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I will take a one tonic, this is D, and I'm going to practice my modal scales off the tonic D. I'm going to use all the, because I like to alternate, instead of just practicing up and down the entire neck, stay in one area and then master where the notes are, or what the notes are that change between modes when you're practicing, okay? Because then if you have a sustaining drone that's playing the tonic, then your ear can hear the notes that are different. And this is all part of ear training as well, is to hear what notes are different from scale to scale or from modes, okay? So, and I always like to practice when I do this off one tonic. I will practice from the brightest mode to the darkest mode. Now, the brightest mode is actually Lydian. It's not the major scale. It's not Ionian. It's Lydian. So you go from light to dark. So you go Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian, Aeolian, Phrygian, Locrian. Okay, that's from light to dark. Makes sense? So I'm going to play this D tonic. I have my sustain pedal down. I'm going to play. There's your sharp 4. That's how you know it's Lydian. You notice I'm playing all in one position in a 4-fret span. We're not talking about extended fingerings yet. What's up, Billy?
You can turn down the piano volume a little bit.
Oh, I'll turn down the piano. Okay. So I'm not going into three fingers, extend open position scales is what I mean to say. Open position scale, if I were to do that, so how's this sound, Billy? Open position scale would be this. So I'm going 1, 2, 4, and I'm using this span of a major third here on the low string. That's called open position. This is what I call closed position within a 4-fret. Does that sound good, Billy? It's within a 4-fret span. Makes sense? Let me turn this down a little bit more, and there we go. Okay, so closed position here. There's our sharp 4, and I like to kind of think about those notes as I'm playing them. The notes that are important in the scale, the sharp 4 and Lydian. Don't forget about tone as you're playing it, vibrato. Don't just run up and down the scale. Play the scale with dynamics. And if you want to add the other available note, I don't like to play my scales where I'm just going up and down them. I like to actually try and create melodic ideas. Don't waste your practice time by just doing exercises up and down, because it's not musical to do that. Find where those notes are, and I'm going to do the same thing with Ionian next. We know Ionian, right? Major scale. The fourth there is natural. I'm going to put that. Ooh, I put a little arpeggio in there. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to move to Mixolydian next. There, flat 7 there. Flat 7 is the key note in Mixolydian. Kind of sounded like Rush for a minute there, didn't it? Sound like Xanadu or something?
Bit, yeah.
Right. Okay, that's Mixolydian, that flat 7. Right? Okay. Now I'm going to go to Dorian, because Dorian is the first minor scale. That's the brightest minor scale. That 13th is the key of that. The key note. That note. Okay. But that note, the 6th, so don't just run up and down them. Once again, try to create melodic lines. Yeah, go over it, get it under your fingers, up and down it, then try and create melodies. Did a little arpeggio there. So that's Dorian. Aeolian is next. Aeolian's characterized by the flat 6. I love it. There's your flat 6. Right? That 6 wants to move down to the 5th. And you notice I'm doing this. Okay? The next scale is Phrygian. Flat 2 is a characteristic note in Phrygian. Right? It gives you that Spanish flavor. And then the last one is Locrian. Locrian has the flat 5. And I just did a half diminished arpeggio because that's part of the scale. Right? Okay, so those are all the different modes there, right? And that's just using what I call close position hand fingering. So within a 4-fret spacing. Now, I do go out of it occasionally if I'm playing D Dorian or something, right? And I want to add in a couple notes on the high E string, right? This is where you get into these cool false fingerings, right? If I take a D minor pentatonic, right there. I love that. Okay. So what I've done is I've combined two different pentatonic positions. This is a very common thing to do, right? So I'm doing this position that all of you know, or most of you know, and I'm adding that position, which is the next fingering above it, and I'm combining it into one scale. So a false fingering is when you play a unison on a different string. So this note D and this note D, they have different tones to them. Sax players do this all the time. You can't, piano is one instrument. Well, you kind of do it with, if you're doing a tremolo stroke, like a Scarlatti and piano, you can kind of do it, but it doesn't really sound the same. False fingering is really great on guitar, okay? So what you want to do, once again, I'm going to drone a D minor 11 chord here, right? And I'm going to practice the scale first. Now it's really tricky, right? You have to kind of figure out what feels comfortable under your playing. You see, I just break out of the thing naturally, right? Because I love that. I love that sound. So there's my false fingering. Right? Ooh, I added that ninth in there. That ninth, okay, that's a cool note to add to the pentatonic, right? But don't put it in every time, right? Ooh, just one little ninth in there. Oh, beautiful. I hit it there. Or that. Sean Lane did this. Exactly. I see Chris just said that. I love that. Okay, so all these things, I've got many of these things in my Instagram YouTube transcription bundle. Because I do improvisations all the time, and then Billy transcribes them. So that Instagram, YouTube transcription bundles like 100 and something pages, and then my book is 500 pages. So all these things are in there. All these concepts are in there with tab, and I've got all the different fingerings of all the scales. It's in notation too. If you're a piano player, all the stuff is in there in notation, but it's also in guitar form. You need to know scales and arpeggios, what I say, at the note, behind the note, and above the note. Let me just explain that really quickly. This is very, very important. My first guitar teacher taught me this. At, above, and behind a note. So if I have a D major scale, right? So here, I'm playing D at the note, meaning that it's in the middle of my hand, starting with my second finger. Behind the note would be here, right? Above the note would be here. Okay, so you should be able to play these at, behind, and above. But don't get stuck in just playing up and down scales. As soon as you have the fingering down, start to vary it. Rhythmically, melodically, create ideas in these scales, because scales and arpeggios are really only important if you can make music with them, okay? You know, and think of different things. So sometimes I'll do things like this. I love the drones though, right? Hold on. So here's my D minor chord. So, you hear my ring in there? Geez, that's annoying. Sorry about that. Oh, man. Bill, you ever notice that or something? I think it's only on the low E string. Sorry about that. I don't think I hear it because when I'm recording it, I don't hear that. That is just such a great thing to add those in there. I love those kind of lines too. Joe, you don't wear your ring? I don't think mine comes off. Now you guys will also hear me do things like this where I will start to add arpeggios immediately into these scales. And I like to practice my scales personally from the top down. And I always tell people this. So let's say I have a D Dorian, right? I'm practicing it from the top down, right? Because most of the time, if you're playing up here in the higher register of the, you know, if you're playing solos, you can really play anywhere, honestly. But you want to be able to play those scales descending, right? But then I like to put in arpeggios with there. So I use this. That would be like a C sus4 sound on there's arpeggio there. Or I'm doing the arpeggio in thirds there, right? That this arpeggio is G sus4. Right? Or D minor. Or F major. C major. So I'm adding those things. Those are things that guitar players like Larry Carlton, Robin Ford, Guthrie Govan, they use these arpeggios. John Petrucci, they will use these arpeggios, these triads, out of the scale and add them to their pentatonics, right? Eric Johnson. Also, right there, I'm playing a pedal tone. You can do things like that as well in your practice. And I'm picking every note, and then maybe I'll slur every note. Or mix them up. You should be able to do all of those things. Ooh, that's nice. So I'm just slurring, I'm just doing a grace note into every... I love that. That's Pat Metheny does that all the time. And Wes. That was giving you, I'm giving that Dorian sound right there with a F major 7 sharp 4 arpeggio, really, out of this. So, practice your scales up. Start with each mode, right? Go up and down the mode. Find those notes that are different, the notes that are the important notes of the mode. Lydian is the sharp 4. Ionian is really the natural 4, okay? And the natural 7. Mixolydian is the flat 7. Dorian is the natural 6. Aeolian is the flat 6. And learn to use those notes. When I went to undergrad, I'll say when I went to college, just in general, undergrad and grad school, there was this whole concept of avoid notes. People talked about avoid notes. Don't play the 4th on a major chord. Don't play the 4th on a dominant chord. Don't play the 6th on a minor chord. And I used to say, what do you mean don't play? No, how do you play? How do you actually use these things properly? I mean, it's ridiculous how to teach improvisation by telling people what not to play. No, teach people how to use these things, right? If you play the 4th, if I have a D major chord, right, and I play the 4th, hold on. That's how you use that 4th, sus 4. Right, so I use that. Now, my teachers never told me that. Use the 4th that way, or use the 6th on a minor chord. So on D minor, that Dorian note. Or use the flat 6. That's where I started playing lines like that. It is a flat 6. Right? I love that. Right? Or the sharp 4 for Lydian. right? So teach people or yourself, learn how to use these notes. Don't have avoid notes. There's no such thing as avoid notes. And the other thing was the fourth on a dominant chord. I used to laugh about that. I thought, what? Blues is all about the fourth on a dominant chord. If I got a D7 chord, right? There's the fourth. There's my fourth. Right? Love that. Discount code RB809. You want to support the channel and you want to learn something? That's a discount code for my Beato book Instagram bundle and for the Beato ear training, my ear training course. Because that's the other component about this. 30% off that. It's 50% off the Beato. I keep saying my name. My YouTube, Instagram transcription bundle, 650 pages. So the ear training program. So what is that? Well, our ear training program is teaches you how to identify intervals, how to identify triads, seventh chords, added note chords, chord progressions, modal chords, rhythms, and the other important thing is being able to hear these things. When you hear them, do you know what it is? Do you know everything that you hear? You know, if somebody's playing something, but one of the things when I was growing up, this has always been a thing about me as a musician. If I didn't know something that I heard and I liked it, I had to figure it out immediately. I never wanted to not know, double negative, something. Incredibly important. Know what you like. Know what it is. Go figure it out immediately. When I heard Eddie Van Halen play Ice Cream Man, it blew my mind. I didn't know why I liked it, so I had to figure it out. Right? So I thought, what is he playing there? And I realized that he was playing fourth related triads, add 9 chords. It took me a while to figure it out. And then I said, well, what else can you do with fourth related add 9 chords? And so once again, I started doing. So I'm blowing F major, C major, G major, D minor. I love that. Then I did G major, D minor. These are all fourth related, right? G, down to D, down to A minor, down to E minor, down to D minor. Right? If you think about Ice Cream Man, Van Halen, how many of you know Ice Cream Man? But I took that concept from there and I started developing other ideas based on that. So they were my own ideas, but they were I really took it from Eddie. I took his idea and I just developed it in a different way. So that, because what I was hearing is the relationships of those, and I love the sound of it. So that's what I did. I figured out how to use it in multiple contexts, right? That's one of my favorite solos of all time. The opening lick of Ice Cream Man, cannot beat it, okay? And not only can you not beat it, I can't play it, but I could probably about 30 years ago. I can now that I'm holding a guitar up high. I'm going to actually start learning it. And the reason I started holding the guitar this way, by the way, is so it fits in the screen really easily. I know that sounds funny. I started doing it on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me at RickBeato1. Like I said, I post things there every day. Okay, you guys are amazing. RB809 is the discount code. 50% off my Beato book YouTube Instagram transcription bundle. 30% off. Thank you, Phil. 30% off my ear training course for the next till tomorrow evening at midnight Eastern time. You guys are amazing. That's all I have to say, because and I'm hoping you're enjoying your Sundays for those of you that are watching, and it's still Sunday. Thank you for all the super